Call the meeting to order of the Economic Development Committee. Please take the roll.
Calling the roll, Mr. Schron.
Here.
Mr. Harrison. Here. Mr. Tuma.
Here.
Ms. Baker. Here. Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent at the moment. There is a quorum.
Thank you. Is there any public comment related to the agenda? Anyone sign in?
No, Mr. Chair, no one has signed in.
And everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from the June 19th meeting? Hopefully you had a chance. I see the heads nodding. I don't hear the heads nodding. I see the heads nodding, actually. The chair will go ahead and move that we approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. Any discussion in regards to approval of the minutes?
Nope.
Hearing no discussion. All in favor of approval of the minutes as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the minutes have been approved. There appears to be one item on the agenda on the for today's calendar. If you could please read that in the record.
Yes, Mr. Chair, and also like the record to reflect that Councilwoman Brown is in attendance.
Thank you very much.
Resolution number 2017-0121, authorizing an Economic Development Fund Business Growth and Attraction Loan, the amount not to exceed $1,500,000 to Renasella for the benefit of the Darko Project located at 26401 Richmond Road in the city of Bedford Heights.
Okay. Is there someone here to speak on this? And I assume there is because Mr. Lockett is staying there at the podium. Please introduce yourself for the record and give the background in regards to this.
First, I want to say good afternoon to the committee. Thank you for your coming out on this rainy weather day. I have one item before you. That item is for Renasella 4 LLC, which is the holding company for Darko Incorporated. Darko Incorporated is currently located in Summit County and will be coming to Cuyahoga County. This project totals $5,800,000. It's the acquisition of a building in Bedford Heights. The address is 26401 Richmond Road. This company currently will be bringing 60 new jobs to Cuyahoga County and will create 5 within the 3-year period. Cuyahoga County is partner on this transaction with S&T Bank, and we have equity coming in from the county, from the owners. The total county loan is for 15 years at a rate of 2%. There is no forgivable on this project. One of the key reasons that we thought this was a great project, it's a great company, in addition to the building that they'll be moving in is currently vacant. So this building that they're acquiring has been vacant for, I would say, approximately 2 years. We estimated that approximately the payroll is going to be about $3.6 million. That will bring roughly about $200,000 plus in payroll taxes to the city of Bedford, and roughly about $20,000 in annual taxes on property taxes to Cuyahoga County. What I'd like to do at this point is to bring and introduce you to my guest, which I have is Dean. So Dean's going to come up and give you a quick presentation as to what Darko Industry does. Dean?
Yes, thank you. Arnold, thank you, and committee as well. Thank you for listening. Dean Renasella, I am a brother. Dan and Derek and myself own Darko. I'm also president. I run day-to-day operations and set up the strategy for our company. Quick overview, Darko works in retail, both with global brands and national retailers. We develop in-store marketing programs for these companies in mass retail, Best Buy, Target. Oh, my voice isn't carrying. There we go. So what we've put together here is a quick presentation, very visual, to show you what we do at Darko with our core staff. It comprises of creative design, project management, assembly, fulfillment, distribution. We also have a digital team we have in place. Innovation is a key part of our growth and a big part of what we'll be investing in the next 3 to 5 years. As mentioned, we do work with global brands and national retailers, Whirlpool, Colgate-Palmolive, Dyson. Believe it or not, Amazon is one of our largest clients from the online field, so that bridges the gap in why we feel our business is sustainable over the foreseeable future. Some of the programs that we do here bridge the gap between the global brands that you see here, Alexa, which is new innovation brought to the consumer marketplace. This was done in conjunction with Lowe's, so we have a broad coverage of the landscape that we do work in. We do large volume, anywhere from 100 units at a time to several thousand, which could elevate up to 20,000 units. Thus the reasons why we like the facility that we found in Bedford Heights. It gives us additional office. We're currently at 8,000 square feet of office. This will give us approximately 20. With that, the assembly and distribution, we currently have about 60,000 in warehouse and distribution, where we do assembly, inventory, management. Will now be up to 136,000. So this will give us room to grow with our client partners. Innovation is huge for Darko. This program here for Whirlpool was introduced last year. This took a refrigerator and carved out the back, and we actually implemented a 65-inch LCD screen. We developed the electronics. We set up the production line and assembled these and then distributed these out to Lowe's, Home Depot, and locations in Canada, including Best Buy. So this is a big part of our growth and how we remain relevant to the clients in our marketplace. Local company, Sherwin-Williams, recently merged with Valspar, gives Darko excellent growth potential. This is their 16-foot paint center, which went into Do It Best. Distribution for these programs could cover both hardware and home centers as well. So a lot of room for growth. Thus the reason for the size of the building that we're interested in. This gives us the ability to put together large programs like this and distribute. We also do remodels and rebranding. This takes us outside our norm of mass merchant and puts us in specialty retail. This is TBC Corporation. You might know them as NTB, Tire Kingdom, and they have other brands under their cover out west, such as Big O. And we do all their in-store remodel, which usually has a turn rate about every 3 to 5 years. For GE Appliance, we do build-out environments. These are custom environments that go into showrooms. So it shows the diversification of Darko as far as not only mass production, but also very intimate and developed environments for the likes of GE. We also work with Electrolux in the appliance category, as well as Whirlpool. As I mentioned, we do design, so we own the business from front end to back end. So we create the solution for our partners, prototype it. Once it's approved, we go to engineering. We do have an engineering staff, and then we go to production, and we bring some marketing elements into it as well. Alexa continues to be a big part of our business. This just showcases some of those additional products. Alexa now is in about 7 retailers, including Target, Best Buy, Staples, and Office Depot. We have a consumer lab, so we are growing our marketing department. Our consumer lab provides an additional service and a source of revenue for Darko to engage with our clients earlier on in the process. This also helps us set up models prior to developing programs or distributing programs. We bring in local consumers to test fit programs, either in design or actual production, and we get their feedback, and then we provide that information at a cost to our clients to provide them with consumer insights and marketing insights. Tech is big for us. Darko designs and produces a lot of our own systems, from control boards to LCD screens and audio systems. We then source these through our factories around the country and over in China. These are then brought in and integrated into the end result, which you see here for Amazon, a program that's currently in Best Buy. Vendor partners, Darko does not do any type of production. We are strictly assembly, fulfillment, and finishing. Our vendor partners are mostly Midwest and Great Lakes region situated, and we do some importing from our factory partners in China, which are mostly component-based. These are our two facilities now located in Twinsburg. We've been in Twinsburg about 35 years. We've moved 3 times within the community. It's going to be tough for us to leave, but we're excited about the possibilities that we have in Bedford. And again, the facility fits our needs quite nicely. You'll see here just at the bottom of the page that we have 4 loading docks. That's for receiving and distribution. And we will now be plussed up to 8 loading docks at the new facility, which is a huge win for us. Some partners. We also have built up real quick our compliance team. This helps us facilitate best-in-class practices with our client partners. That's a team we're building right now. We have gone from 2 people up to 4 people. And like our innovation group, our digital team, we will continue to invest in personnel, and that will be one of our growth departments at Darko. And that is the pitch. Any questions?
Well, let's, and let the record reflect, please, that Ms. Simon's here. The questions would be perhaps around the financial modeling of this and then the business modeling. Why don't we start with the financial package first and then go into that? So we'll go through those rounds with Mr. Lockett, and then we'll come back. Mr. Cello, is that my pronunciation? Ornicello, okay, okay.
Cello's fine.
All right, no, it's all right. Just the way I wrote it down phonetically. Yes, Ms. Baker.
Thank you, and thank you for considering Cuyahoga County. If we're targeting towards the financial questions, I guess my first question would be the building acquisition of $5 million. Is that, and it's in a vacant, abandoned building?
It not abandoned.
Oh.
It was just been vacant.
It's just vacant.
It was vacant for about
What
2 years.
does that, and then 800,000 for renovation?
Yes,
So the 5 million,
it's the acquisition of the building cost.
so you're going to buy the property and you're going to keep the building, you're not going to tear it down and build a new building?
Correct.
And the square footage again of that existing building?
The building is roughly about 156,000 square foot.
Do you know what the building is appraised at now?
What we put in our covenants is that it has to have a loan to value of at least 90% loan to value. We need at least 90% loan to value on the building before Cuyahoga County can finalize this financing.
What does it make that value then? What is
Well,
the,
Well, what we're saying is that if the building comes in, it has to appraise at least up to 90%.
okay, got it. All right. It says in the community impact, if I may continue, it eliminates blight. Is this in an area that,
Well, the reason why we put that blight in is because the building had been vacant for a while. So in that sense, we use that as a blighted.
okay. That's all for now.
Any other, in regards to the financial side? Yes, Simon?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the question about the Western Reserve loan fund, that's the source of the loan? Is
The
that
economic, it's the job
development?
creation
What's it
fund.
called now? Is that, okay, it's just termed something different now. Is that money sitting there, is it bond, we need to bond it out? What's the status of this funds? Is it just sitting in that fund right now, or do we, where's this money coming from? I know what we're calling it.
Councilman Mike May from the Department of Development. I'm the Development Administrator. We actually have in our account all funds available for this loan. Actually, right now, we have about $16 million that we're in possession of right now for any loans of this sort. So there's nothing with regard to bonding.
Is that from the casino revenue?
Some of it
What's the
is.
sum of it
we have
is? Some of it
We've
is.
received this year, in fact, the $4 million that was legislatively approved to put into the job creation fund. So again, to answer your question, basically the resources are sitting in our purview right now.
Are some of those resources resulting from payback on
They are.
preceding loans?
They are,
Good.
yes. We're right now, we're receiving just shy of we expect to receive this year, just shy of $2 million of debt service back into the fund based on the loans, the portfolio of loans that we have right now.
So if this loan's approved, will there be sufficient funds in there for any pending deals that we're looking at now?
Yes, yes. The answer is yes. I mean, the pipeline that exists right now, and loans that have, actually, we have a few loans that have closed, that have been legislatively approved and have to be closed yet legally. But the entirety of that pipeline matches up with the resources that we have thus far.
Great. I think this is great for my colleagues' district and the county, so thanks for joining us in Cuyahoga, hopefully.
Other questions regarding the loan itself? Anybody else? Okay, the chair will ask. What is our position on the loan?
We're going to be in a second position with S&T Bank. The county will have a corporate guarantor as well as a personal guarantee.
Okay,
for
so
the
it'll be a
owners.
personal guarantee from
And a corporate.
Mr. DeCello?
Yes, and the
Okay.
brothers. And then, yes, and a corporate guarantee from Darko.
Okay, and then we'll also have a lien on the building, I
Yes,
assume?
we will.
We got we're second position on the mortgage on the building? Is
Yes,
that
we
what
will. We'll file a mortgage.
Okay, so first position is the bank, and how much are they coming in at?
The
And
bank
what's
is at
what's the
3
owner's equity?
The bank is coming in at $3,430,000. The owner's equity is at $870,000.
Okay, so the owners are coming in to the tune of
About 25%.
20, yeah, okay. Close enough, yeah. And we have personal guarantee, of which, where are we in regards to the personal guarantee? We second on that too?
Yes, with the bank. The bank is the senior lender in this deal.
So the bank is gonna come in first position on the mortgage, first position on the personal guarantee, and first position on the corporate guarantee.
And that's pretty standard with our
Yeah,
structure.
well, it'd be nice if we were.
Head of the bank.
If we were on a parallel path with them, but, because our $1.5 million is almost half of what the bank's coming in at, so, I always get cringe when somehow public money should be coming way far behind that. It would not have bothered me to be in a parallel path on the personal guarantee and on the, in regards to the corporate guarantee. I can understand the bank being first position on the mortgage, but it just seems like we should be on a parallel path on that. That's as far as the lending from my position. Does that generate any questions from anybody else? Hearing none, okay. Mr. DeCello, any questions in regards to the business as it's presented, and how it fits and what it means and things of that nature? Any questions? Yes, Mrs. Baker?
Thank you. Just a little curious about your business. You were saying that you are working with Target, Walmart, Amazon, and some others.
Correct.
They do not have their own marketing in place for their own use. It just seems surprising they would go to a outside service, especially a small business, which is great that they do. But I would think they would have that in-house for the number of stores that they have.
They do have the service up to a certain point, and then there's a handoff. So it's kind of shared services. So the marketing end of it, from product development and channel marketing, their strategy, Amazon to the retailers, is part of what they own. And then we're brought in to develop the solution from there based on their market research and their plans for retail distribution. So we're the physical part of it. The marketing is one aspect of it, but we actually build the elements that market their product on shelf, and that's something they don't do.
See here what how's that right?
We can come back.
Yeah, come back. I had a couple others,
Any other
but-
questions in regards to the business side of the transaction? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to go and follow up with my colleague Sunny Simon, Councilwoman Simon. District 9 is extremely excited about having this business in the Bedford Heights community. I was contacted specifically by Mayor Fletcher Berger with his enthusiasm as well, and been working closely with the Economic Development Department as well as our staff to ensure that we have all of our ducks in a row to be able to see this deal through. So I certainly would like to respectfully request the committee's support with regards to this project, as it will bring desperately needed tax revenue to Bedford Heights. It will also put one of the Richmond Heights, the road on which the Richmond Road, in which is in Bedford Heights. The place that they will be occupying is a thriving area. There are other warehouses in the community, but this will certainly be a great addition. And with the work that they do, as well as the projects that are in the community, the Van Aken project, the Pinecrest project, I can see opportunities developing for Darko as well. So again, just wanted to express my sincere enthusiasm for something like this coming into District 9, and respectfully request that this committee support this deal. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, with those statements, okay, sure.
Just wanted to go back to your square footage. And I believe at the top of your presentation, I thought I heard that you were coming from an 8,000 square foot to a 20,000 square foot?
Correct. So currently at our corporate office, our actual office space is about 8,000 square feet, and will be elevated to 20, which will combine a couple, not just office facilities, but also our consumer lab and our innovation lab, which is located in the warehouse currently. So it will give us a little bit more cohesiveness with our teams, and keep everybody within the office space, because we'll have the extra square footage. And then the distribution and warehouse at the new facility in Richmond will be solely for production.
And that's where the 156,000, did I hear you say?
So that will be 136 of warehouse and
36.
distribution, and 20 approximately of office.
And did I wrote down the page of the slide, I'm not sure, page 15. Did I see that you resource out to China?
We do some outsourcing to China. We're a just-in-time business, so whereas many businesses have the time to produce and ocean freight in from China, that luxury is not always in our favor. So we're working on stop-and-go decision-making, and usually within 4 to 6 weeks of implementation.
So you try, if you can, keep it within, at least within our country?
Oh, certainly. Yeah. Very big in the domestic production area. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And with my colleague talking about Bedford Heights and its importance, only because the door was opened, what is Bedford Heights doing in regards to this transaction?
Bedford Heights is limited in their resources as far as dollars to the project, but they are encouraging possibly a CRA for them on the payroll taxes, but they have not been able to come up with any dollars in the project.
Yeah, but there's other ways in which they can participate. Are they doing anything in regards to that, in regards to incentivization to get them to come here? Or is it all coming from the county? And
It's pretty much coming from the county, and I pushed very hard to try to get some dollars out of it.
He's a good friend of mine, the mayor. I might just say, hey, in the future, you need to participate when you bring these businesses. And then this is the second Summit County transition, we'll use that word, to come to our county, which I think is great. I never have a problem with that. Are we getting any pushback at all from Summit County? This is 2 in 3 months?
I haven't heard any.
Okay, well, hey, all's fair in love and war is my attitude in regards to business. And to my colleague, as far as China, I assume that a lot of the stuff, at least when I looked at that, was you're doing a lot of point of sale, transactional advertising and marketing.
That's correct. Point of purchase, point of sale.
Yeah, and so a lot of that looked like it was thin film technology of screens and things like that, and digital stuff. Unfortunately, we don't make any of that in the United States, into the thin film screens and TVs, and I wish we did. It was all developed right here in Northeastern Ohio. We just never kept it.
Yeah, Kent Displays. Yeah, so that's a component of it, but a lot of it is fabricated or tooled up materials.
Okay.
Fabricated metals, plastics, vacuum formed plastics, injection molded, and that's all done stateside.
Okay, well, we have a lot of that stuff, of thermoset and a lot of that vacuum forming right here in the area. Would love to see that kept here.
Yeah, actually, real quick, the Sherwin-Williams display is produced by our wood and plastic partner Warwick Products over on the southeast side of Cleveland.
Okay,
So right off 71. So they're a participant and one of our longtime vendors.
and then those would be shipped any place in the United States, I assume?
Far and wide, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And Canada.
Good. One of the things that would be nice is if we can get some of that other production to move to this area. We'd love to be able to figure out a way to get some of your suppliers to move to Northeastern Ohio that are in all those other areas. So I know that Mr. Laka Mr. May would be thrilled to see some true integration of what goes on there. So let us know what we can do to help you encourage, just like we'd like to encourage the medical folks to move here to Northeastern Ohio. We'd love to have this point of sale stuff. My concern is with your business model itself. I'll be quite candid. I mean, tomorrow is Prime Day, as we all Prime Day is going to be an almost all internet-based transactional activity, I believe. What is your concern? Because we're on the hook for 15 years with this loan, and the future of retail does not look like it's got a 15-year life cycle based on what all is going on in all of the shopping malls. And Sears just announced yesterday shutting down of a whole series of Kmart's, and Sears is being shut down all over the country. Tell me why your model is going to work for 15 more years, point of sale.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you touched it, actually.
Hands. Retail is going through a transition like every business and industry, and it's on the tail end of it. As you saw in our tagline is we create in-store experiences. So what's nice about the retail is that, first off, Target, as an example, is investing $7 billion over the next 5 years to redo their stores. And we are a vendor of Target and look to be the recipient of some of that business. And we just shipped about $1 million worth of product into their store this spring. With the changing landscape, as mass retail starts to reinvent itself, you have startups that are building physical stores, the Warby Parkers. Amazon actually builds physical structures such as kiosks and bookstores. So there's just a shift in how retail is going to evolve. Digital is a social engagement, and our business in shopping is social. So we as human beings, as we understand it, are not going to change from doing the things that we do that bring us joy and enjoyment. And that is shopping or getting together with friends and heading out to engage in experiences. So with our business, why we see it sustainable is we're not just a single pillar of POP displays. We're bringing the marketing element to it from an analytical standpoint, which is a revenue stream. The innovation, which is digital, and digital does not just entail physical, which is screens and audio systems. It's also app development and content development. And then we also have the ability to design and rebrand stores. So as these startups begin to redo the retail landscape and be more targeted to the geographics and demographics that they want to meet, we'll be there to support them with our services.
Well, my concern is that having three young families in our household, none of which go to the malls anymore, none of which go to the stores. they almost all are Prime and Amazon shopping. And all you have to do is look at in each one of these districts, we had the Richmond Mall, Randall Park, just go down the list, Euclid Square, we're all in these districts to my left, none of which are operational at this point in time, one of which is completely torn down. So my concern is I'm going to be supportive of what's coming out, but I think that we need to be conscious. One of the reasons we were a little reluctant towards going into retail was because of the volatility of what's going to happen with retail. And it looks as though an awful lot of your model is directly dependent upon retail. Obviously, you're smart people, know how to run your own business, but we're responsible for the taxpayers' dollars out here, and there was a real reluctance when we created these economic funds to resist going into supporting a retail transaction. This seems to me it's almost indirectly a retail transaction because you're a point of sale market. So I will trust the two gentlemen who have done the analysis that are going to be loaning our $1.5 million of taxpayer money out there, and I just throw out that cautionary word because of the way it looks as though retail is really getting eroded out there in the marketplace. Any other comments based on my comments?
If I may.
Sure, absolutely.
Mr. Chair, given, as you pointed out in our districts, the mall situation, I think there's just a shift in as Mr. Rinsella said, with regards to the landscape of retail. The Van Aken project is converting, much like your Crocker Park is converted to workshop, play, and live. And so Pinecrest, which is a much larger project, is along those same lines as Van Aken is along those same lines. So I think there's something to be said about the retail market just shifting, as he pointed out, its style, if you will, and the ability to be able to deliver an experience, I think, is a value that Darko provides. And I'm not sure that it's limited strictly to your main stores like a Sears, but as again he pointed out, your Targets. Amazon just recently partnered with Whole Foods, if I'm not mistaken, and so there's a change in the retail landscape, and I certainly appreciate your point of view, but I don't think it's going to go away in the next 15 years.
Well, I would like to hope not, because I think our communities depend upon a blended solution of retail and shopping experience. But I can just look at our sons and daughters, daughter-in-laws, and everything's shipped in Amazon nowadays to them. They do not walk into a store, and with free shipping and 2-day Prime status, I know where they're going to be tomorrow. They're going to be looking at Prime. Was it Prime Plus, or what do they call it?
Yeah, it's Prime Day.
Oh, tonight at 9? Prime Day? Yeah. So
Mr.
with
Chair?
that, any other?
Just
yes,
to comment with Mike, to follow up, it's just to say that the malls are unique. I mean, there's books written about malls, how they're just not, they're outdated, and it's just new experience of how to retailer their retail, basically. So malls are interesting animals.
They are.
They're dinosaurs.
They are, and it was amazing how fast they went from
Yep.
a lucrative Severance being one of the first in the country to then you watched them all grow, and then within 25 years they're all gone. Almost all of them except for Beechwood. So it's a unique
Yeah,
experience.
and none of our business is not mall-based, all the retailers we deal with. And we're heavy brand-based.
Yeah.
We changed that model before the financial crisis, which was a good move for us. And there's a lot of qualities of working with the brands. They have a lot of channels to go through to distribute their products. So we're still heavy on the brand side and keep the retailers as frenemies, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's interesting that Amazon is a brand, but they don't produce a single product.
No, marketplace, yeah.
Yes.
If I may just ask a financial question, is that okay?
Sure, absolutely.
I just wanted to clarify, the S&T Bank and the county, for the most part, is the building acquisition. Your dollars for equity are going into renovation. So is that how you're seeing how your money is being spent?
Well, we looked at it from a total project side. So long as they brought at least 10% equity into the transaction, we looked at it from a whole project stance as opposed to breaking it separately.
May I continue?
Sure.
But the way it's broken down is 3.4 million from S&T and 1.5 million from the county.
Yes.
That equals to almost the purchase price of the acquisition. I'm just saying, is that maybe not for you in loaning, but is that the thought of the owner to invest what he's given toward the acquisition, and that equity that you have yourself that you're investing go into the renovation? Is that a fair question, or is that just not how you see it?
I don't, Dean, if you want to respond, I thought it says a total project cost, and then that we looked at it, the county looking for a 10% equity injection from the owners as a total. So I didn't break it out and say that the bank was only going to look at the building as the project. No.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I just see dollars are fungible. You're going to combine those three sources of funds, the 3.6, the 1.5, and the 0.8. They're all going to get blended together. And bottom line is the owner's equity is, you guys are going to be at the end of the table, behind the bank and the county.
Third in line, yeah.
Yeah, well, but you're first in line hopefully for when the profitability of the business kicks in, so we hope that takes place. So as I recall hearing about this about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, that there's an expeditious need to this.
That is correct.
Okay. And one of us always liked the idea of being able to have these things and go right directly to council. Unfortunately, I couldn't convince the clerk to do this very often, but I think we have convinced that it is on the agenda for tomorrow, if everything goes well today. So with that, the chair is going to move to, for a second reading that will be done at tomorrow evening's council meeting. And so I will move that we adopt 0121 for a second reading suspension. Is there a second? Second, it's been seconded. Any discussion in regards to that? And just so everybody understands what that means is that if this goes forward, it's already temporarily on the agenda for tomorrow. So if it fails tomorrow, then that's a different story, but I don't really anticipate it will. So with that, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. And this will be up for second reading suspension tomorrow, assuming that our council president leaves it on the calendar, and there's no reason to think it will not.
Okay.
Is there any miscellaneous business? Hearing none. Is there anybody that signed from a public comment unrelated
No,
to the
Mr.
agenda?
Chair, no one is signed in.
Seeing none, that completes the agenda, so the chair will close the meeting. Thank you.